Hey Michael, welcome to the GAC RMHC Golf Classic. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's take a look at your posture. Your spine straight and on a slight tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Arms you hold down out in front of you a little bit and the club works out to the ball. So if I'm going to work on your golf game, I just try and I would push your tail out and up a little bit. Try and push your sternum out and up and forward a hair. What that's going to do is just going to increase the angle to your spine just ever so slightly. We can keep your legs unlocked exactly as they are. And then I want your arms to hang down a little bit more naturally. I don't mind that you hold them out in front of you a little bit. But we do need to get your hands a little closer to your thighs and increase the angle relationship between your arms and the golf club. So a real slight revision there with your spine and your arms would be ideal. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is when we take a look at your golf swing, I think we're going to see some elevation change up and down with your head and your spine. So let's just pay attention to the spinal position and where I've revised it to about, let's say, 50 degrees. Okay? From here, your alignment looks pretty good. You're a little bit maybe closed. Let's just go ahead and take a look at that. We can see here that your feet are running there. Carry that out towards the fairway. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera will have an appearance to converge. And even with that conversion, we can see you're set up right at the corner edge of that water there. Okay? So we might see some form of a compensation that's going to somehow try and get the ball a little bit back more towards the center of the fairway. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison here between you and Jordan Spieth. Got some color-coded lines up on the screen just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. We can see with Jordan as he initiates his takeaway, creates good shoulder rotation, draws his arms and hands back as well as his golf club. Also, before we go ahead and take a look at the rest of the backswing, notice his spine is tilted over a little bit more, and that's what I was sort of getting at with respect to your posture. Anyways, as he continues to come back, the club travels back directly along the red line on plane. Also through this vantage point, we need to start to incorporate some wrist hinge into play, which is going to transition the club head currently from being below and in front of our hands to moving the club head above and behind our hands. Very important move in the golf swing. From here, we work the golf club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we either want to have the left arm in the golf club situated on the yellow line, anywhere in between the blue-yellow V zone, or physically up on blue, as we can see with Jordan Spieth. We also want to create full shoulder rotation. We want to do this upon a stable right leg while maintaining the posture and the spinal axis that we achieved at address. As we go ahead and watch you initiate your takeaway here, we see your hands come back really nicely. A little stiff-wristed with the golf club through this stages of the golf swing, where your left wrist is sort of bowing underneath a little bit. Got to start to see some wrist hinge here in the next few frames. We see a little bit there, and we see a little bit more there. So the club is recovering, everything's fine. Let's continue to work this golf club up to the top of the backswing. When we finally set the golf club at the top, you got good shoulder rotation. Stable right side. Your arms do have a tendency, unfortunately, of compressing to the core. Just means your right tricep is compressing to the rib cage. The forearm, the right forearm, might be compressed into the bicep a little, but we can see your left arm is definitely folded. So we're not really maximizing our arm extension. I want to go back to your address position here. I do want to put a little box around your head. Want to pay attention to your forehead and your chin. Want to watch you make your backswing, and we want to see if there's any elevation change here where you sort of dive down towards the ball because your spine started too tall, as I'd mentioned. So here we are rotating on your axis, and we can see your head definitely moving forward and dropping down a little. So the reality is, why do I want you to fix your spinal position at address? Well, so you don't actually have to move down into this position that you're acquiring right now. If we go back to address, we can see that your spine is way more vertical than that position. Okay? So we see your spine here at 64 degrees. When we rotate, take the golf club back, we're now rotating back and diving down and getting on a spinal axis that I actually wanted you to achieve at address. So why not attain that at address create your rotation. There will be no fluctuation up and down. Your head will have stayed in the exact same spot. From here, as we create our transition back into the ball, simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left. Want to fire our knees and our hips laterally to the target, unwind our core and fire our hands. And in doing so, we want to make sure that we're bringing the golf club from the blue-yellow V zone, wherever we set it, back down on top of red. And that's exactly what we can see here with Jordan Spieth. We can see the golf club having returned back to plane. The other thing we want to observe at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead form and the golf club. I refer to this as the backwards check mark. It simply means that the club head right now is remaining above and behind our hands, coming into the hitting zone, which is going to allow us to create a lot of power, let alone our ability to hit the ball straight, due to the fact that, again, the club has returned back to plane and is a main ingredient in order to produce straight golf shots. Let's go ahead and watch your transition back into the ball here. Our hands come over the top, unfortunately, and as our hands come over the top, we're pushing the golf club out away from us. So very simply, if we go ahead and track this club head, we're not going to see this golf club returning back to the red line. That golf club is going to continue to fall further and further out in front of us and never return back to plane. So we're ultimately going to be attacking the ball from what's referred to as outside to inside. If we go ahead and just sort of connect the dots here, we can get a little bit of a clearer visual as to the descending plane of that club, the over the top, the steepness to it, and therefore, again, like I said, attacking the ball from out to in. As opposed to what we can see with Jordan Spieth on the left side of the screen, we can see the golf club having returned back to plane here, and then we can see that the club is attacking the ball directly from this red line, directly from on plane, which again, like I said, is going to produce a straight golf shot in accordance to our alignment, as long as the club face squares up, obviously via having a good grip. In your case, the golf club has not returned back to plane in this frame, continues to attack the ball from over the top, out to in, and therefore we're on an out to in path. Seeing that the downswing planes are vastly different with those yellow arrows, we can go ahead and clear this stuff off the screen, and we can take a look at Jordan's club slightly inside the ball before contact. As he hits the ball, it expands out, and then the golf club moves through on a nice natural subtle arc. Your club is stuck outside the ball, dropping down and across, making contact, and continuing to move inside. So very simply put, if we happen to square the club face up to that swing path, we'll hit the ball nice and solid, but the ball's going left on us. If we happen to release the club relative to that path, not only will we pull the ball left, but we'll hit some form of a pull draw or pull hook. If we leave the club face a little bit open to the path, nice thing is we can block the ball a little bit right of that, impart a little bit of left or right spin, and hit this nice little soft fade that will find the intended target. If we happen to leave the club face too open, incredibly, we can start the ball even further right, even though we're swinging along that red path to the left. Therefore, we know the club face was massively open. We're imparting a ton of left to right spin on the ball, and we're going to hit a block slice. So the end result of the golf shot is solely dictated, unfortunately, by the timing of the club face. Because the club is coming from outside, striking the ball, and moving to the inside, if we square the face, it'll follow red. Over, release the club, continue to follow the smaller red arrows. Leave it wide open, following blue, and if we time it properly, it'll follow yellow, and everything will turn out. At impact, I like where your right heel is, slightly off the ground. Let's see if we continue that foot activity through the finish, and you do. Pretty much getting up on your toe, allowing your hips to square around, and you're getting yourself through to a good finish. Looks really, really nice. Overall, you got some really nice athletic qualities with respect to your golf swing. Your hands work well, they come back, they fire through. You coil, you uncoil. You have good footwork, allowing you to get through to a good finish. We can see your alignments a little bit to the right, therefore the compensation is to come a little bit over the top and try and pull the ball back to the left. With that golf swing coming over the top and attacking out to in, now the end result of your golf shot is dictated based on the timing of the club face, like I said. If it over releases, ball's going too far left. Under releases, too far right. And if you time it okay, you will find your intended target. In this particular swing, I want to bring it back just before impact. I want to check out what your club face is doing. And we can see you come into the ball. Club face remains open. We do pull the ball a little bit back to the left because that's where we're swinging. The ball's going to get out in the air. It's definitely going to have left or right movement. And you're probably going to hit a nice little fade right back somewhere probably towards the center of the fairway. So obviously the compensation there, the timing was great, and unfortunately That's what you rely on. You rely on the timing of that club face in order not to hit the ball too far left or too far right, and obviously incorporate some of these inconsistencies left and right. Okay? Anyways, if at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, I'm located over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a little program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, looking for a unique gift to provide to your guests, feel free to reach out. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, hope you had a fabulous day, and hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video.